Shalom, good afternoon. Welcome to A Faithful Life. My name is Emunah Israel, and this is day number 24 of the Proverbs Challenge. It is hot out here. This time I decided to wait till I park so I could vibe. I'm riding vibe and parking vibe on this 24th proverb. Word 1 says, "Be not you envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. For their heart study destruction, and their lips talk of mischief." I'm sorry. One of the scriptures says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, and consider its ways." So the ant came to check me out at the Proverbs Challenge because he's scrolling on my Tanakh page. But I won't even bother him. I'll let him chill while I vibe and watch him. But it's 1 says, "Be you not envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them, for their hearts study destruction, and their lips talk of mischief." And it's the total opposite today. Today it would read, "Envy evil people and desire to chill with them, for, they be talking that stuff that, makes you hard." I mean, it has become the total opposite. For instance, certain groups that form that do mischievous behavior intentionally because they're looking for something and they're not getting it at home, so they found these barns outside and beat people up and do all kind of stuff like this. You have the music industry, you have the entertainment industry, you have all of these industries that's built on envying evil people. Now, not everyone in these industries are evil, but the thought behind putting something, wagging the little dangly carrot in front of people's minds so that the child in the hood thinks the only way they can get out is if they, get a basketball career, or if I sing really good or I dance really good. And the thought is not, 9 times out of 10, is not to give glory to the Most High. I'm going to give it 9.5 times out of 10. It's not to give glory to the Creator. It's to inflate my ego, or inflate the individual's ego, so that now they think they become a superpower onto themselves, and that people will be envious of them and want to be with them. And here it says, don't do that. Through wisdom is a house builded, and by understanding is it established. Also, often people say, "Oh, because I want to buy a house." And it's funny why we do these things. We do these things for the simplest things, like, "Oh, I want a bigger house. Oh, I want a big car." And then you come and see them broke. You come and see them bankrupt. As easy as the money came, it went. Now you have a bad name. It doesn't pan out a lot of the times. And the question is, why? I like to ask the question, why? Why doesn't it pan out? But I see here, take the wisdom from the ancients. It says, don't envy these people. If you're slowly gathering, like I said, one coconut filled basket, little by little, you slowly gathering, just do your little by little. Don't watch the other person who's pouring or heaping it on, because like I said before, you never know what they're doing to get that. It says here, "Wisdom is too high for a fool. He opened not his mouth in the gate." Verse 7. Wisdom is, sometimes people are being quiet, because there's another scripture that talks about people who are being quiet. And even a fool, when they hold their peace, is thought wise. It says, "Wisdom is too high for a fool. He opened not his mouth in the gates." Some people don't open their mouth because they don't know. Some people don't open their mouth because they're wise. So we can't just say, "Oh, because they're being quiet, they don't know." It could be either or. Here again, we're on the 24th Proverbs, and Solomon is hitting it home all day, every day, on what's gonna differentiate us. And it's not how much money you have. It's how you use your mind. How you use your mind. How you apply yourself in life, whether or not you're gonna go the foolish road or you're gonna go the wise road. I actually did a series. I think I'll put a link to it one time. Am I a fool? Some people might be like, "Yeah, you kind of silly, Emunah." But I did that series, I think last year or year before last, something like that. And then I went through the scripture and pulled out all of the scriptures that talk about being foolish and being wise. I think I'll post a link so you can take a look at it. I thought that was also an interesting study as well. I did that study before. Lastly here, it says, I'll end on this at the end of the proverb, because then I gotta run to the store. Just being real. It says here, 30 and going down. It says here, 30 and going down. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I saw and considered it. I looked upon it and received instruction. Yet a little sleep and a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. I think I shared that before. Sorry, that was me. I think I shared that before one time when I saw that scripture back in my love to sleep days. It brought me right up out my stupor, because a little folding of the hands to rest. Not that you're gonna be a workaholic, because there's a thin line between just working all the time and then you don't enjoy yourself. And Solomon talks about that in the book of Ecclesiastes, when he breaks it down and says, vanity, vanity, all is vanity. And at first you gotta be like, is this the same person talking? Because there's a balance. There is a time to rest, like the Shabbat that the Most High gave us, the 7th day, which is a time to step away from all of those self-ambitions, all the things we want to achieve for ourselves in this life, and rest. You know what I noticed too? People say, oh, that's religion. You know, I don't do religion. These be the same people who say, oh, I'm so tired. And I'm like, there's nothing religion about it. It is practical information that you must rest. If you do not stop yourself, the ego is never satisfied. And I think we're going to read that later on in the Proverbs. It talks about it. I'm putting it in the sense of the ego, but he's saying that there's a few things that are never satisfied. And he goes on to say the barren womb of a woman, and you know, and that's another story. But the ego is never satisfied. It's always going to want more and more and more and more and more and more. That's the design. That is the design of it. I find it interesting that once we study, sometimes you might be saying, what is she saying? The ego, the nakash. Just begin to, if you haven't already, study a little bit about the ego. In Hebrew, it's called the nakash. Study about it, because it kind of comes on like an entity of itself. It's funny, my daughter said today, Mommy, why is it that we want something, and when we get it, we don't want it? And I have to laugh, because that's the nature of humanity. We could want it so much, but once we get it, it loses its appeal. It loses its appeal. So I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Still, just study a little bit about the ego. It's very interesting. We'll never stop wanting. So then, oh, that's what I was talking about, the Shabbat or the Sabbath. Some people say, to me, it is the best gift to man, because there's nothing religious about it. It's practical common sense. If you know the mentality of humanity, we're not going to stop. We're going to want and want and want and go and go and go and go and go. And every day is my day. And the reality is we did not make ourselves. So every day is not our day. And how great is it to have a power that you serve that says, rest now, my child. Because this material world that we're in reality, is the illusion. This material world that we're in is the testing ground. It is not. The majority of souls are in the spiritual realm. The majority of the reality, we're pulling things from the spiritual realm and manifesting it here on this third dimensional plane that we could touch, taste, and feel. And so the Shabbat or the Sabbath, what it teaches is that to stay away from money, to stay away from certain things that is going to make you think that this is it. This is not the last stop on the bus. And because this is not the last stop on the bus, every week we have a reminder, like when you put you put on your phone a reminder, hey, wake up at this time. You put on your calendar a reminder, you put on your computer a reminder. It's just a reminder to tell you and I, this is not the last stop, and don't think that this is reality. For me, anyway, and I love it. When it comes, and I see it's about to come, and you prepare, and you know when you sit down, anybody who keeps the Shabbat could testify, when you sit down on that Shabbat day, and you go like this. Nobody don't call me. Don't ask me to do no work. Don't ask me to run up and down to the store for some stuff that I really don't need. Don't ask me to do nada, because I'm not doing nada. It's beautiful. If you're not there, I pray one day you get there. And if you doubt it, try it. You know, is it just try it. Just try it and say, hey, I'm closing down shop. And that's stress. A lot of times we're stressing is because we're not resting ourselves. We are not recuperating from all of the energy and all of the hustle and bustle. And we are letting everybody else dictate to us when it's time to shut down. I'm gonna come down off my soapbox now. I was just sharing that little tidbit. I thank you for tuning in. If you have not, please check out. Here is subscribe, and here I believe I'll just put days 1 through 23. It's been a beautiful, beautiful journey. We're not done. We got like what, 8 days left to go. So if you haven't, just start now. It's a beautiful thing. So everybody have a blessed day. I'm about to go to the stove. See you later.